Dark Souls earned a reputation as the epitome of tough but fair. And as a gamer who values overcoming an epic challenge, I'm delighted that its sequel shows no hint of easing off the talent for creating brutal difficulty and tempting exploration. Dark Souls 2 is every bit as punishing, demanding, and amazingly rewarding as its 2011 predecessor. Its new ideas for both single-player exploration and helping and tormenting others in multiplayer don't always click, but enough do to make this an exceptional game with an irresistible challenge.
Your face. The face of the curse.
As a guy who earned both the To Link the Fire and Dark Lord endgame achievements in the original Dark Souls, I have no shame in admitting that Dark Souls 2 kicked my ass hundreds of times throughout the massive 60-hour journey. Each moment of failure taught me more about how Dark Souls 2 works, and that helped me get better. From enemy attack patterns to the signs of environmental traps, the high difficulty almost never felt insurmountable. I say almost because Dark Souls 2 went a little too far with a penalty that decreases your max HP every time you die. This can be counteracted by using a human effigy, but those items are few and far between in the early half of the campaign. While undoubtedly a hardcore feature, I found it frustrating because it slightly stifled my urge to explore the world with a fear of being too harshly penalized for failure. But I pushed through and was rewarded for it, because the sprawling and diverse world of Dark Souls 2 is one ripe for non-linear exploration. One of my favorite elements here is that you always have at least a handful of different routes through the world at your disposal. Stuck at a haunted dock full of fire-wielding marauders? Well, you can work your way down to a well and find a tomb full of talking rats. Can't get past this ridiculous boss? Maybe head down another path to the Shaded Woods instead, and come back once you've leveled up. Oh, and remember how awful the frame rate got back in the original when you entered Blighttown? Dark Souls 2 runs at a steady 30 frames per second throughout the entire campaign without a hiccup. Linking up with other players online changes the dynamics of play in some really interesting and challenging new ways. Dark Souls 2 builds on the same excellent foundation of choosing whether you want to invade other players' games and troll them with nightmares, or take the saintly route and assist them in particularly tough battles. The role of covenants is expanded in the sequel as well. For instance, joining the Rat Covenant gave me the run of an ancient tomb, including control of where to place poison pools, enemy rats, and other devious booby traps for the next non-Rat Covenant player that happens by to deal with. It's an extremely satisfying way to express my inner evil genius. Combat this time around is similar to the original. A strong emphasis placed on patience, learning enemy tells, and being able to block or dodge at an instant's notice. Every encounter is a miniature puzzle in and of itself. But the enemies in Dark Souls 2 are some of the strongest stuff FromSoft's ever produced. Mummified knights who can actually guard and parry provide stiff early game challenges. Massive armored turtles slowly stomp towards you with menace, forcing you to use your agility to combat their raw strength. And giant trolls with smaller creatures riding atop them necessitate keeping your distance and quick, calculated strikes. It's chock full of challenge and variety. Iconic bosses also provide a ton of memorable moments of pain and regret that will eventually become triumph. They don't have quite the same impact as those in the original Dark Souls, but to be fair, that's probably because I was prepared for the kind of challenge they were going to throw at me. There are certainly standouts though. The Mirror Knight, for example, is an amazingly tough battle set on a gorgeous tower and features some super exciting uses of multiplayer and New Game Plus. They're fantastic surprises I won't spoil for you. One of the big changes to the way the world works is the expanded fast travel system. While fast travel is available in the original, you don't unlock it until well over halfway through. In Dark Souls 2, fast travel between any bonfire you've kindled is unlocked right from the get-go. I can't emphasize how great it is to be able to hop around the map at my own leisure. The one place it's counterproductive is when you have to warp back to the hub area whenever you want to exchange souls for stat upgrades. That irritating and unnecessary step leads to a good chunk of wasted time. At least it's nice to look at while you wait. Dark Souls 2's updated engine emphasizes the role of lighting in exploration. At any bonfire, you can choose to remove your shield in favor of lighting a torch. Not only does having a flame in your hand illuminate dark corners, but some enemies will even cower in fear before your light. A choice that makes such a visible impact is cool, but oddly enough, the torch creates a strange trade-off. Take a look at these two areas, one with a torch and one without. A bit weird, huh? Dark Souls 2 is a smart, massive, and incredibly rewarding sequel. It's crammed with deep systems, tense encounters, and enough clever multiplayer and New Game Plus elements to make me want to restart the second I saw the end credits. Not all of the tweaks and additions worked out for the best, but with such great enemies and levels to fight and explore, Dark Souls 2 made 60 hours of pain and agony so much fun, they flew by in a heartbeat.